So when I said I was going to ask you this last time because I forgot.
Okay.
When should Christians be saying "I love you"?
Oh yeah, that's a great question.
In a dating relationship.
In a dating relationship, you know, and I'll look back at mine and say that, you know, there were relationships where I never said "I love you." In dating relationships that I had prior to my wife, there were relationships where it was said pretty quickly, you know, and I think that, again, it's like sex in the sense of it escalates the intimacy and it together. But also when you say that, you can start thinking and dreaming about futures together prematurely. And I think, and I'm not saying that all of these things are just awful and terrible. Okay. What I am saying though, is it moves the heart forward in a way that if you didn't say those words, that maybe it can help, again, guard that heart. In other words, create a healthier environment. And if the relationship ends, you know, there's not heartache or devastation or, you know, or where someone can feel misled or manipulated. Like, well, you said you love me.
Right.
But obviously you didn't because of X, Y, or Z. And especially if that...
It's not my fault. You took me seriously.
Right. Like on you. Right. Yeah. No, but I mean, that's part of that.
I said it from the stage. Like, get over it. We're done.
But I do think that's part of, like, when you say those words, it really does kind of open someone up going, okay, they really do genuinely care about me and those kind of things. But if you're just being flippant with it and there's no real meaning to that, I think it's how we're using that phrase in our tense and our words behind it, and how individuals can take it. And so, again, there may be someone that's like listening to this and be like, man, I knew that was the person I was going to marry from point one, said I love you, and, you know, like,
that's nonsense.
That was it, right? You think that's nonsense?
That's wrong.
Yeah. So
those people are wrong.
Well, yeah, maybe so, but I do think there's people that approach it in different ways, right? But I'll again, just for me, I would hope that it would be said when there was a seriousness of, this is the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with.
Okay, I have a new question.
Okay.
It's like every step of this process is, I'm not going to do this unless I know I'm going to spend the rest of my life with them. Mm-hmm. So why not just get married? Yeah.
No, like, okay, so...
I don't get it.
Yeah, can I be honest? I actually think people...
I feel like you've said this 3 times.
Yeah, I think actually people should date for a shorter period of time, be engaged for a shorter period of time, and get married more quickly. Yeah, so I think actually individuals, like, whether they're younger or older, probably could have a shorter dating period, and a shorter engagement period, and get married quicker. Like, I actually would be for that. And here's what I mean by shorter, okay?
Okay.
I think oftentimes we end up in these situations where it's like you've dated for a year, or more. You're engaged for a year. Like, I think especially engagement periods can be shorter, okay? And so, like, for me, again, this is just Joseph speaking, okay? Like, I was like, all right, from my perspective, when I was dating Melanie, we started dating in December. It was really in July that I was like, okay, I can see myself, like, with her, like, for the rest of my life, like, being married to her. That's when I first said I love you. Okay. And then the next month, I actually went shopping for engagement rings. Because I knew, all right, let's, and then our engagement was, a little more than, well, it was about right at 6 months was our engagement period.
Okay.
And I think you can do engagements in 4 months, honestly. I know a lot of people say, well, I got to prepare the wedding and all that kind of stuff, but we counsel couples to say you can have that done in 4 months. And again, I'm not saying it has to be that way. All I'm saying is you're not wrong. The dating process and the engagement process can be cut shorter and brought back to shorter periods of time. So if it takes, like you're saying, 3-6 months to get to know someone, and then at that point you're like, no, this is the person I want to be with. Okay. Like if y'all are both on that same page, let's get engaged and, let's move on. And so, and I will say this, there are individuals that are younger. Let's say they're like, they're out of high school. They're, let's say around 20 or whatever. And some people may think that's too young because they don't have this set up. But I actually think that if getting married at that younger age is actually not the worst thing.
Now that I'm older,
yeah,
I think you're right.
Really? I'm actually surprised to hear you say that.
I think.
Okay.
Why are you surprised?
Because I thought you would say, no, that's just being stupid. You don't know what you're doing when you're that age. That's just being...
No. I'm thinking about it like it's a lot easier to accomplish some of the things that you want to accomplish when you're living life with somebody else.
Yes. And I would agree with that.
Like when you are sharing in a 1-bedroom apartment with somebody else instead of having to do it all yourself and have help with everything else.
Correct. I think it can actually, it's interesting because people will say, well, you don't have your careers established. You don't have right? I actually think financially it can actually set you up in a better position.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. And I'm
thinking strictly financially on that.
Right.
On that stuff.
Yeah.
But it'd be a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
And it seems like if two people go off and start their careers and do whatever, that you're getting farther apart than you are coming together.
Yeah, and what we have found, and this is again, I'm making generalizations here, but what we have found is that individuals that wait longer, like especially if they're like they've had their own, independent lives and careers, and they've been living by themselves, making their own decisions. Or at least living, in a situation where they're not under, the mom and dad's roof, right? Yeah. They're making their own decisions for career, for finances, for, just their day-to-day activities, their hobbies, the way they live life, go about life. People can become set in their ways pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you may look and go, man, 19, 20, 21, isn't that young? But I would say, yeah, but you're actually a little more moldable at that point. Mm-hmm. You push that off later, and it's like now individuals have to learn to actually give up some independence in being married and learning how to live and share space with another person and make decisions in a joint manner rather than just in an independent manner.
Yeah, I lived by myself for 7 years, 11 if you count college.
Okay. Yeah.
And then got married and had a wife and a kid all at the same time.
and that was just easy, right?
That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean it worked out, but sure.
But yeah, it was different.
Yeah. And it probably took longer to learn and to mold and to fix some things. So
yeah.
Yeah. And again, we're not saying that, I'm not saying, oh man, if you don't do it the exact right way, it's just going to be not disaster. No, I'm not saying that at all. We're just talking about the healthiest manner. Right. Yeah. And also times when we're talking about those things, I realize there are some ideals put into that and we don't always meet the ideals, you know? But if I feel like if we don't shoot at least for an ideal, we're selling ourselves short. I get the fact that, often we don't hit the ideal. There's like the real deal that's actually reality. But if we don't have an ideal we're shooting for, we may even fall shorter than what we would want or intend to.